Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Just thought I'd do a quick update to the JAN-HENDRIK Wessels saga. It's one that's been going on for quite a while, and it seems like the latest is it's going to be the appeal will be heard on Thursday night. So the Bulls have got themselves an Irish SC to come and help them out there, fighting the battle on their own turf, on the Irish's turf now, and they've obviously decided that this is the time for action. Unfortunately, the thing with the appeal is the burdens of proof lies with the guilty party to prove why the original result was incorrect. Now, there's so many discrepancies in this saga, and I mean I've handled them in other videos as well, and I'm sure some of you have watched that. But I thought I'd just maybe do an update and maybe one or two lessons from this for South African teams. You don't have to always agree with me, but yeah, I'd love to know your comments in the down below. What I do want to say, start off by saying, is that I don't believe that this is a conspiracy against South Africans. I know it's been suggested online. Some of the comments suggest this. I don't think it's as organized as that. I do think what happens, though, as well, is that a lot of the time when the team's successful, and we see this in all sorts of sports, you saw it with Manchester United, with Liverpool, teams like that, as soon as they get successful, you saw with the All Blacks in 2011, when teams get successful, then there seems to be a bit of jealousy, a bit of envy that comes in, and that's certainly the case I've picked up from places abroad around the Springboks. I think part of that problem is I don't think it's as overt as saying, well, we're gonna mess you up, and in this case, I think it's just one of those things where they sort of accept things that you normally wouldn't have, and I'm sort of wondering if this is not part of what happened in the JAN-HENDRIK Wessels case. The fact there's obviously also been suggested to me that perhaps the Bulls weren't prepared well enough for the hearing. Perhaps they weren't. Maybe there was a bit of complacency. Maybe it was such a ridiculous, with no video evidence charge, that they thought there's no ways they could find it guilty. But I suppose that's part of the problem that we have here as well, is that there's some lessons here for South African teams to learn. But anyway, get back just to the thing. The appeal will take place probably Thursday night. JAN-HENDRIK Wessels has gone to the Springbok camp. He's there at the moment, so waiting, hoping for the overturning of the appeal of his original 9-week sentence. Of course, those people who haven't watched those other videos won't know that there was no conclusive video evidence, no new video evidence, and there's a lot of questions that still are being raised about the original hearing. Because I've read the judgment, I've got it in my files here, and part of the problem with the judgment is the citing commissioner, who says he was 20 meters away from the incident, which in itself is a problem because the main grandstand is being rebuilt in Galway. And so the only grandstand open to the public is the opposite grandstand, which is about 50 meters away from where the incident happened, the accusation happened. That's the first thing. So the citing commissioner said he was 20 meters away, he had a direct line of sight. The citing commissioner, who's an Irishman, spoke then afterwards to Josh Murphy, the complainant, who accused JAN-HENDRIK Wessels of grabbing and twisting his genitals, and then made up his mind. He didn't speak to JAN-HENDRIK Wessels, so he took a one-sided approach to it. And then the burden of proof in the hearing is that JAN-HENDRIK Wessels has to say that prove that the citing commissioner was wrong to bring him before the hearing. Now, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I think there's a lot of factors here. I think JAN-HENDRIK Wessels, I know him well. I've interviewed him before. His English isn't the best, and that's not an excuse. None of us know what happened in the hearing. We weren't there, so we don't know how the hearing took place. We don't know what parameters they were with. We have been told that they weren't allowed to cross-examine Josh Murphy, which the Bulls lawyer wanted to do. They weren't allowed to do that. Instead, the committee questioned Josh Murphy. And the interesting thing is that the committee said that Josh Murphy's evidence was carried more weight because, one, the citing commissioner supported him after speaking to him apart from everybody else, one Irishman to another, and second of all, because he spoke with clarity and at length, where JAN-HENDRIK Wessels' testimony was brief, according to them. Now, there's many explanations for this, of course, and I mean, as I say, we weren't in the hearing, so we're not sure what the explanation for it is, but yeah, when you're not English is not your first language, and you're dealing with a law case, often what would happen, and I've seen it before in hearings, the lawyers would say, just stick to the questions, don't embellish, don't carry on, just stick to what you know, and that's that, and answer as briefly as possible. You counter this with Josh Murphy, who And it's come to light as well. And I said before in the week, and I said we shouldn't be blaming Josh Murphy. He was caught up in the heat of the moment. But the more I think about this, the more I think, was there motivation for Josh Murphy to accuse JAN-HENDRIK Wessels? He lashed out. He hit him at the back of the head. That is a clear red card according to World Rugby's guidelines. The disciplinary committee, the same one, which shows it's supposed to be an independent, it's supposed to be a different disciplinary committee. They use the exact same 3 people who already found his version more correct than JAN-HENDRIK Wessels' version, decided that, well, he should be exonerated. Now, what motivation was there for Josh Murphy to be exonerated, to make sure that they take his side? Well, it's come to light that he's had 2 previous red cards, one for eye gouging and one for a cheap shot, which is ironic because he accuses JAN-HENDRIK Wessels of being a cheap shot. So I've got video footage of the one cheap shot. So let's have a look at that video footage now, and then we'll carry on.
The referee is going to go over to the big screen and have a look at that. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think Josh Murphy is going to find himself in serious trouble. Because that was quite a nasty shoulder charge to the head.
I swear it wasn't me. You know how it is. Scrums get messy, tackles get wild. We were playing under pressure, big game. Big man coming through, I just called his name. He ducked low, I went high. Next thing I see, he's rolling on the turf, yelling, "Ref, look at me." Said he saw you swinging that arm in there. Video check, slow motion glare. You can try denying, but it's plain to see. I hit him with the elbow, wasn't me. I hit him with the head, wasn't me. Hit him with the knee, wasn't me. Scraped him with my boots, wasn't me. Please, ref, come on, believe me, wasn't me. You know how roughs get messy. Coach said, son, you gotta calm down. I said, coach, I'm fine. That's just how I get around. It's passion, aggression, controlled insanity. That's how we show love in the game of rugby. We back in the scrum, we fight as one. Mud on our face, we still get it done. But when the ref blows up, here's the guarantee. I hit him with the elbow, wasn't me. I hit him with the head, wasn't me. Hit him with the knee, wasn't me. Scraped him with my boots, wasn't me. Please, ref, I'm innocent, wasn't me. I just tripped accidentally. Yo, ref, you know me long time, man. Clean record. Well, mostly. That guy dove like he's swimming for goal. Check the replay. Slow it down. Slow it down. I hit him with the elbow, wasn't me. I hit him with the head, wasn't me. Hit him with the knee, wasn't me. Scraped him with my boots, wasn't me. Please, ref, it's rugby, G. Wasn't me. It's just good old-fashioned loyalty. Yeah, man, he fell into me. Twice! It wasn't me.
I'm taking it we're not seeing anything from quite 2.
At the moment, no.
No. So if we're not seeing anything, we'll keep looking at the angles, but I want us to focus.
Before we all get high and mighty, rugby is a physical game. It is a game of collisions. These things do happen. Players do things off the ball and in the dark arts of the rucks and the scrums, and things do happen. But still, to this day, a disciplinary hearing's got to go on facts. And there's nothing in this hearing that said anything different that's proven that JAN-HENDRIK Wessels has actually turned around, grabbed Josh Murphy between the legs and twisted his genitals as has been alleged. Josh Murphy says it took 3 to 5 seconds. Now, the other day, the video I put out, I slowed it down. It shows that it's not 3 to 5 seconds. The more likely scenario is that somewhere along the time there was probably contact, which makes me think that JAN-HENDRIK Wessels' version cannot be dismissed, because you're caught in the bottom of the ruck, your leg's caught, you're in pain, you want to get yourself out, so you move your arm and you try and push yourself out. Maybe at some point that makes contact. I don't know. That's not the point here. He's been found guilty of another act. The point is there enough evidence to find him guilty of that act? He's denied it. They've decided Josh Murphy is more in the right here. The same players had 2 red cards before, and if this red card had stood, would have been stood down for 6-7 weeks as well. We saw Makazole Mapimpi got put down for 5 weeks, banned for 5 weeks because it was his 3rd yellow red card. So there was no likelihood that Josh Murphy wouldn't have got the same. So that tells me now, and this is just logically, you can disagree with me, but that tells me that there's motivation for Josh Murphy not to want to have it be found red. And everything worked in his favour. The citing commissioner and a fellow Irishman who's appointed by the Home Union goes and talks to him afterwards. He doesn't talk to JAN-HENDRIK Wessels, right? He makes up his mind from there. He puts in a report which has obvious flaws in. Josh Murphy carries on like that. To me, if this was clear cut, and there's been some very strange comments below my last couple of videos, some guy accusing me of protecting people who sexually molest people or whatever. I mean, to me the point is, you can think what you want about my comments, you can have your own opinion about this, but to me it's plain and simple. Show me the evidence. If there's evidence, and on the precedent of hearings before this, precedent of Adrian Strauss being grabbed between the balls in the Samoa game, of Bongi Mbambi at the World Cup being accused of a racial slur, of Carl Sinclair being accused of biting Franco Mostard's arm. Each of those was dismissed because there was a lack of video evidence. But this committee, in its wisdom, has found that there was evidence, according to them, that nothing else could have happened. There's no benefit of the doubt. There's nothing like that, and that's why this appeal has to. If this appeal doesn't succeed, it's going to open a hell of a can of worms, because anything that's grey area, players can allege another player. If they go and hit another player, they can allege, you know what, it happened because I was retaliating because he did this to me. And there's precedent now. And that precedent will weigh, and rugby will regret this. Whether you like JAN-HENDRIK Wessels, whether you like the Springboks or not, I saw this weekend again Stephen Jones, who's blocked me on Twitter. Used to be somebody I would chat to and call a friend, and then suddenly decided after the Tom Curry thing, when I defended Bongi Mbambi, that I was wrong. Anyway, that's a little sidebar. And then blocked me. Apparently, I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people blocked by him. Said this weekend wrote a whole column about how Russia's aging warriors are going to do battle in Europe, but how so many people want them to lose. And I think that's the thing I'm coming down to. I wrote a thing for Supersport yesterday saying we're all victims in this scenario. JAN-HENDRIK Wessels is obviously the victim because he's going to lose out on more than R1 million worth of earnings. He won't be able to play for the Springboks or the Bulls, and there's no clear evidence. If there was clear evidence, I wouldn't support him at all, but there is no clear evidence that this is what happened. It is like that. Unfortunately, you go to a court of law, lawyers will always tell you that you don't bring anything to a court of law that you can't prove. But in rugby's disciplinary, it's on the balance of probability. So if they feel you've done it, then you're guilty. And that's the travesty of this whole thing. So the URC are the victims here as well, because the disciplinary committees are handed over to an independent body. They don't, Tapa they haven't anything to do with them. And disclosure, I've done work for the URC before. They are a great bunch of people. They do a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and they are not involved here. There's got nothing to do with them. So that's the next part. So they're also the victim, because they're getting lambasted everywhere. Everybody's taking them on, saying it's a URC problem. It's got nothing to do really with them. It falls under their banner, so they've got to take the flak. But yeah, knowing them, they can't intervene. If they intervene, it's not an independent process anymore. So the whole thing comes back to the disciplinary committee. And then, the Bulls and the Springboks are victims here because they can't use a player that they wanted to. But I think the lesson that we need to learn here, and I think this is the most important thing what I'm getting to, is that too often rugby officials, and I'm not sure that this is the case, but I'm sure there might have been a little bit of this involved anyway. Too often in rugby, the problem is that officials have a bunch of lawyers that they like, and they send these disciplinary cases to them. They more or less 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, week off for tackle school, accidental head stamp, etc. And they sort of accept what's coming. I think the Bulls were probably a bit underprepared for this. I don't think any of us expected a 9-week ban. I don't think any of us expected a disciplinary committee who could convict on that lack of evidence. But it happened. So I think the lesson here is for South African teams, there is envy out there. There is jealousy out there. You have to be, if you're going to be a professional team and say you're the best professional team in the world, you've got to be professional in all aspects. So in that case, you've got to be on a war footing in all cases. Every single disciplinary hearing, you must be prepared for whatever they're going to throw at you. You can't be caught off sides. We can't be having these sort of videos all along about JAN-HENDRIK Wessels and other players. If players are guilty, they're guilty. They must face their sentences. But if you can't go into a situation where this has dominated the headlines for the last week or so, and you weren't prepared. I'm not sure if they weren't prepared, but the suggestion that's been made to me by 2 people that I know who are closer to the process than I am, that perhaps they weren't, the Bulls will probably deny this, but perhaps they were caught a bit offside in this hearing. And it's natural. You wouldn't have think with that sort of lack of evidence somebody could convict, but it's happened. So lesson is here, be on a war footing from the start. And South African fans, it doesn't help us whinging about every little thing. We've got to choose your battles as well. This is one that's definitely worth the whinge. This is the one I've made a number of videos about. I'm not sorry I made a number of videos about, because it is a travesty. It is a joke. And any sane person who looks at the way they came to this decision, who reads that judgment, and if you're not Irish and you're not from Galway and you're not from a friend of Josh Murphy's, you could just shake your head and say, how is this? This is a travesty of justice. Anyway, that's my rant for now. Josh Murphy is not an innocent party. He's not this saint who came and gave this wonderful evidence there. Doesn't mean if what happened, doesn't mean that he deserved it. My point is just that he had a reason, and it's worth a question. He had a reason to try and get out of his red card, and the easiest way of doing that is trying to justify his actions. Now, we'll see what happens with the appeal, and I'll definitely bring that to you as well. But that's the way I look at it as well. So, that's my call. That's my take. Let me know what you think, and we'll bring you the news as soon as we get it there. But it's a Springbok week, so there's a lot else happening. I'm about to go into a meeting with Nick Mallet as well. We'll have that up a bit just now. Chat to you guys soon, and let's hope for the best for JAN-HENDRIK Wessels. And let me know your comments. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But thanks for watching. Cheers.